Hello, Leo Rising. I'm Britten LaRue, and this is Scopes Unshamed for August 2026. And it's looking like a really big one for you this month. This month is a big turning point for you. My sense is that so is July. My sense is that so is 2026. So when I say this, it's not to create any fear that there's something that, you need to take care of, you need to manage, or something's going to happen to you. But I think that you're in a time of like really dilated awareness around who you are, where you're going, what you want, what you believe in, and who is here to help you with that. Am I, are you feeling it? When we enter August, we will have just come off a huge full moon in Aquarius, which is opposite your rising sign. So, in your seventh house of interpersonal relationships, you currently have Pluto moving through that house for over a decade. And my guess is that there may have been some things that came up, perhaps even like emotional types of things that came up over the course of that full moon that you're still going to be kind of integrating and metabolizing as the month is coming forward. At least we're not in a Mercury retrograde anymore. There is a ton of Leo energy, and you, Leo rising, have Leo at your first house, which is arguably the most critical house in a birth chart in terms of who am I, where am I going, what is my direction, like what is the pathway and how do I want to be on the pathway. So this is not a month for like sitting quiet, just kind of doing something in the background. This is definitely a month where it may not be visible. It may not feel like, oh, I'm manifesting things out in the world, though it might. It might be coming up as more of an internal sense of like turning the steering wheel and putting on the accelerator. So, in order for you to feel good about the where you're turning the wheel of the so-called boat of your life, you may in that process also be noticing like what you don't want in your path anymore. This could be a time of a lot of relational change for you. Um, in a really good way, like a very liberating way, a very nurturing way for you at a soul level. But anytime we have shakeups and breakups and updates in our relational field, that's with one-on-one partners, but also with your networks, like the groups of people that you bring together or that you all come together around certain issues. It may be a month where you're feeling like what was previously important to you is not feeling as important, or like your priorities have shifted. You may be able to recognize maybe where you haven't been fully supported in who you are. You may be able to really sense like who's not actually going to go with me in my emergence, who is not actually supporting my healing journey and evolution, who is not really there for me in my becoming, and who like wants to keep me in an old version of me. And there may be a degree to which that's uncomfortable, but honestly, a lot of it I think is going to feel really straightforward, where you're just going to be like, and that's how it is, and we're moving on. Like you may have access to a power within you that's less like resistant to these updates because it's just obvious to you and you're just going to do what you need to do. And you're really just moving yourself forward according to who you know you're becoming, who you know you're becoming. So it's really important to unshame this because this is your life, like this is your life. And this month we have an eclipse in Leo. It's a new moon solar eclipse in Leo on the 12th. It's going to be at 20 degrees. So we've had one of these Leo Aquarius eclipses already. There's going to be several more after this. So you're being initiated into a story over a couple of years with these eclipses across your first and seventh house. So this is like the next step in the story. So if your ascendant or any placements are around 20 degrees, they are especially called in. And this eclipse will be especially big for you. But I think it's just going to be big for you because it's first house, seventh house. And what happens with eclipses is we're often invited to see something that honestly has been there like all along, but we didn't see it before. So eclipses can be, uncomfortable to the degree that collectively and personally and interpersonally, we're suddenly like given new information. Like something happens where it's like, oh, this exists in our culture, or this exists in my relationship, or this exists within myself. And the thing is, like, it was already there. We were just operating, pretending like it wasn't, or for whatever reason, we weren't really taking this into account. And now, like, in the time between the two eclipses, which is 2 weeks, there's always at least two eclipses. And the quote unquote hard part is this period of like rapid transformation that can be happening in the 2 weeks between eclipses. So that's August 12th to August 28th when we have the next eclipse. And in that period, what I always like to recommend to my students and to my clients is to really take this as a time to take some space to listen. Separate yourself from anything that may be going on collectively that affects you a lot in a way that makes it hard for you to hear yourself, makes it hard for you to know how you want to respond, how you want to take steps after what's come forward. And then that way you don't have to regret reacting or making decisions or opening your mouth before you really felt grounded into your truth. So I would recommend this anyway, because when you have a first house time, which you're in a first house time right now, this month, this is really about where you're going in your life. It's like, who am I? As I said, who am I and where am I going? Like, what motivates me in my going? What kind of path do I even want to be on? And we're all going to be different here. Leo risings are going to want a different thing than Capricorn risings. So, how do you want to be in your path? From a Leo perspective, I would say that first of all, you want it to be connected to your heart, to love, to generosity. And you're going to want to feel connected to a kind of pride in yourself as the leader, as the author of your own life. Like feeling like you're really rooting your whole life in your heart. So heart-based compass decisions, like how are you deciding how to drive your boat? If it's coming from the heart, that means it's not coming from the mind. That means it's not coming from a should place. It's not coming from I have to. It's not coming from shame. When you're leading your life from your heart, it's a very different kind of frequency. It's a very different kind of knowing, and it will not let you down. Because even when we get hurt, because we will, because that happens as humans, it's way preferable we learn in adulthood. It's way preferable to live a life from your heart and sometimes be hurt than it is to ignore your heart, shut it down, wall it up, and live everything from should and shame. And because that leads to a life that feels out of integrity. It leads to a life where you feel heavy in heart. And it's not worth it. It's harder to accept that when we're younger, But as we get older, life kind of makes us, you know, like life just is kind of like, we want you to understand this. Okay. And the transits in the sky right now are transits that are like, we want you to understand this. We want you to be authentic. We want you to be real. We want you to be you. We want you to be you, and you know who you are through your heart. Let your heart be your compass. Let your heart be your compass. Let your heart be your compass. And let all limiting beliefs and resistances based on fear melt away so that you can come into this in the most liberating way possible. That's what I would say for this month. But this may not be a month where you're like manifesting your best life as much as, wow, I'm really sensing this redirection. I'm really sensing this redirection. And now I'm going to be living it. The second eclipse is going to be in the next polarity of signs. It's going to be at Virgo season then. So it's going to be a full moon eclipse, and that's going to be in Pisces. So the energetics will shift later by the end of the month. It'll be less of a fiery time because we're going to move into Earth. You're going to be moving more into more of an orientation of implementing what you need to resource yourself in order to move forward with the redirection that was becoming obvious to you over the course of Leo season. And, getting organized around that. And the full moon will be in water, the polar element of Earth, Pisces, the polar sign of Virgo. And usually these are like really beautiful full moons to feel reconnected to the cosmos and to love all around us, Pisces. But it is a lunar eclipse. So it may be extra emotional. You may feel connected in some way to grief, loved ones past. Mm, yeah, a sense of what you've known that took care of you. And yeah, it just may have some feelings about it. That's okay. Full moons often have a lot of energy and feelings about them. But this was like really going to be, I think, supporting you and caring for yourself this month and helping you understand where care lives, even in the unseen, and to consider your ancestors and other people to be a resource for you, to be a place where you can get support and balm for this life so that you know that you're not alone. You're not alone because the first part of the month, it is kind of singular focused. It is sort of like is a time of year when it's important to be more self-focused because you're trying to get clear on your path. But I think the full moon is going to come in and help you see that you're not alone in all of it. And the like invitation for that full moon is to lean back into support. Just like, what if you could just open into the vulnerability of being a human who wants to be supported? You're not alone. I hope that that feels supportive to you. If you love my approach, I would love for you to subscribe to this Scopes Unshamed. That way you'll always see when these new ones come out. And you can be sure to get the Scopes Unshamed for September. Please like or comment. I love to see the comments. I'd love to know how this landed for you. And I would love to know if anything that I talked about here today resonated. Thank you so much, Leo Rising. I'll see you in September.